What if everything you ever dreamed of came true, right after your life completely fell apart? What if your greatest story was born the moment you lost everything? J.K. Rowling wasn't always a billionaire author. She was a single mom on welfare, battling depression, and clutching a story she believed in when no one else did. This is more than a story about magic. It's about how pain creates power and how rejection can be your greatest redirection. In this video, you'll learn how J.K. Rowling went from poverty to publishing phenomenon, and how her mindset turned failure into fortune. We'll uncover how she wrote Harry Potter with no money and no support, the 12 gut-wrenching rejections that nearly stopped her, how she battled depression and kept going anyway, the mindset shift that can change your life too. By the end, you won't just admire her story, you'll believe in your own. Lesson 1. You don't need a perfect start, just a clear dream. J.K. Rowling was sitting on a delayed train from Manchester to London when the idea hit her. A boy wizard, completely unaware of his power, waiting to be discovered. She didn't have a pen, no paper, just the spark of a dream. Over the next 5 years, she held onto that vision through a whirlwind of personal tragedy, her mother's death, an abusive marriage, and single motherhood. She wrote in cafes with her baby sleeping beside her, not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. You don't need ideal conditions to start. Dreams don't wait for convenience. J.K. Rowling didn't wait for a publisher, a mentor, or approval. She just started. What's your excuse? But chasing your dream doesn't mean it gets easier. In fact, her biggest heartbreak was still to come. Lesson 2. Rejection is proof you're trying. When she finally completed Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, J.K. Rowling sent it to publisher after publisher. 12 said no. Some didn't even respond. Others said kids wouldn't read a book that long, that fantasy was out of fashion, that no one cared about wizards. She was told to get a day job, to give up, but she didn't. She kept sending it. And finally, one small publisher gave her a shot, only after the CEO's 8-year-old daughter begged for the next chapter. Rejection doesn't mean your dream is invalid. It means your dream hasn't found the right door, yet. If J.K. Rowling had listened to the first, second, or 12th no, the world would have never known Hogwarts. Rejection is part of the process. The key is not letting it become your identity. She had her book, but what she didn't expect was that her darkest battle was still ahead. Lesson 3. Your greatest struggle can become your greatest story. Behind the rising success, J.K. Rowling was fighting a silent war, depression. Not sadness. Depression. The kind that feels like a dementor sucking hope from your soul, something she later personified in her books. She wrote not just to tell a story, but to survive. Writing gave her purpose when nothing else did. Her characters became her friends, her world, her escape. And somehow, through the pain came magic. The parts of you that feel most broken are often the ones that will help others heal. Rowling didn't run from her darkness, she turned it into light. And that's what art is, truth told through creation. But pain wasn't the end of her story, it was just the beginning of something bigger than she imagined. Lesson 4. Stay humble, even when you win big. Harry Potter exploded. From book to film to theme park, it became a global empire worth billions. Rowling became the first billionaire author, and then gave so much to charity she dropped off the list. But here's what's remarkable. She never became arrogant. She stayed grounded, quiet, focused on writing, on giving back, on mentoring. She didn't let fame define her. She didn't chase the spotlight. She stayed connected to the very people who made her stories possible, readers. Success doesn't have to change who you are. Fame might find you, but humility will keep you. Rowling teaches us that you can be powerful and kind, rich and generous, famous and real. And yet, despite all her success, she still had one more realization that changed everything. Lesson 5. Real magic isn't in books, it's in belief. Rowling once said, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." She lost everything, her job, her marriage, her confidence. But what remained was belief, not in magic wands or spells, but in the power of stories, the resilience of imagination, the idea that even when life is cruel, you can still create something beautiful. And that belief, more than anything, is what made her unstoppable. Belief is the birthplace of miracles. No matter how hard things get, if you can still believe, even just a little, you're not done. You're not finished. You're just beginning. Don't go anywhere. The next part is where everything changed, not just for J.K. Rowling, but for millions of lives around the world. Rowling didn't just write a book. She created a world where the overlooked were heroes, where misfits found belonging, where love conquered hate and courage defeated fear. Her legacy isn't just Harry Potter. It's the millions of kids who learned to believe in themselves through those pages. And she did it by never giving up. Not when she was broke. Not when she was alone. Not when the world said no. If you ever feel like you're too broken, too late, too stuck, remember, J.K. Rowling started with nothing, and she created everything. If this story lit a spark in you, don't let the world dim it. Subscribe, because we share real stories that prove your dreams are valid, even when life gets hard. Share this video, because someone you know is on the edge of giving up. They need to hear this. They need to remember who they are. And above all, believe in your story, even when no one else does, because that is where real magic begins.